There definitely are. I think it's a combination of things. I think guys get stressed with work. They got relationships, work, finances, kids. There's a lot of factors in their life that cause them to already be stressed. Then they start training on top of that 6-7 days a week, and there's just too much on their plate. So to me, from an exercise point of view, I would limit going heavy, because when you start going super heavy, you also tax your central nervous system a lot. So to me, if you're deadlifting super heavy, squatting heavy, your central nervous system is going to take a hit and you're going to feel beat down. So to me, I would go, if you're starting to feel, some days you walk in the gym and everything feels heavy.
Yeah.
You get no pump, there's no connection. Firstly, I take a day or two off. I eat what I want, I chill for a bit, then I come back and I don't go as heavy. So I'll go slightly lighter, more controlled work all the time. And to me, just the limit of it's almost like a deload, where you lower the amount of weight used, and that'll help a lot with keeping your central nervous system not too taxed. So I actually feel, especially towards the end of the year, like you said, it is a big one. So I think to the average beginner, I would separate them. Same with CrossFit. That's the reason why a lot of guys get injured in CrossFit, is because they're going to get touchy subject here.
I was looking at the analytics and I realized that 86.6% of you beautiful people are not subscribed to the channel. So please take the time to hit that subscribe button, because it will go a long way. Thank you so much for being part of the community, and I look forward to having some beautiful, meaningful conversations with you. Welcome to another episode of Rethink Mindfulness. We're going to talk about health and fitness today. It's that kind of topic where there's a lot of information out there about it, but people don't seem to get it. There's a lot of blueprints. People actually join the gym because they saw a Instagram post or TikTok, but they can't seem to get it right. That's why they need guidance. That's why personal trainers are there. But I have a fitness expert today that's going to walk us through everything we need to know about health and fitness, and hopefully you can walk away with something that you can actually apply into your journey. If you're starting out or if you experience, I think that you can also learn something. Pula, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, brother, man.
Are you doing well?
I'm good, boy. How are you?
I'm doing fine, man. I'm doing fine. How was your morning so far?
You're busy as ever, but hey, we're working.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Yeah. Pula, we're going to get into it, man. This is a topic that's going around, and people really want to know, because there's a lot of information out there, but nobody actually verifies the information.
100%.
What does a beginner do when they're starting out in the gym?
In terms of exercises, I think one of the biggest things when it comes to beginners is this, as you say, there's so much information on TikTok and Instagram, and everyone's trying to stay relevant. So they post so many workouts and exercises that are just overcomplicated. To me, the best thing for beginners is literally stick to the basics. I'm 27 now. I've been training for 10, 11 years, and I still do the same basic movements. Good form, high intensity workouts, compound lifts. To me, that's the best. Like when it comes to legs, your lunges, your step ups, your squats, with back, you got your rows, your lat pull downs, deadlifts, basic, simple movements that are taxing. When you start doing like a one arm cable upside down, you're losing it. So to me, keep it simple is the biggest thing with beginners.
Yeah. You spoke about intensity. How do you determine the right intensity for your workout?
Intensity to me varies from person to person, depending on your fitness level. So to me, if I have a very, very beginner client, it's going to take them longer between sets to get their heart rate down.
Yeah.
So for them, a workout's going to feel intense. That for me, I've got clients that are top runners. They recover so fast between sets. So to me, intensity is based on your fitness level. So rest periods should be when you feel that you can perform the next set at perfect intensity, then you go for it. But don't let your heart rate come all the way down to resting. It's too low. So if you can keep your heart rate around 115, 120 throughout the workout, obviously it'll spike during your set. When it starts coming down to 120 again, go for your next set. And that keeps the intensity of the workout. As soon as you see in the gym, how often do you see guys on their phone like this scrolling? Their heart rate's at 50 beats a minute. They've lost it. You got to keep that heart rate up. That to me is the barometer for intensity.
So why is it important for people to keep their heart rates up?
I think the biggest thing when it comes to keeping your heart rate up, aside from a fitness point of view, because I believe that we'll touch on it just now, but strength and cardio should be different. To me, getting your intensity up allows you to get more work in that workout done. So you can get more sets, more reps, more work done, as opposed to sitting on your phone, you're spending tens of minutes scrolling Instagram. You're not very efficient in your workout. So to me, it comes down to efficiency as well. That's why intensity is there.
Oh, okay. Does that apply for either strength training or cardio?
Both. I think that cardio should be done. Personally, I think cardio is there for heart health. You see a lot of top bodybuilders that are having health complication because their heart attacks, they're having organ failure. To me, okay, aside from the obviously chemical use of them, their fitness is not great. So to me, I do cardio 3 days a week for 45 minutes. That's just for my cardiovascular health. Whereas I think strength training should be there to obviously get stronger and physically look better. But I keep them mutually exclusive purely because if I'm doing if I'm trying to combine them both, I'm going to be inefficient in both.
Okay.
If I'm trying to superset bicep curls and running, I'm going to be gassed out of breath doing my curls, so I won't be muscularly taxed. Then I get on the bike and I'm already tired from the set. So I keep them apart. I'm doing cardio. When I'm doing weights, I'm doing weights.
Does that work for everybody, or is it's subjective?
I think it's subjective. I mean, some guys enjoy doing, like High Rocks is a good example because they kind of mixes weight training and cardio. But then again, those athletes are quite fit.
Yeah.
So I think to the average beginner, I would separate them. Same with CrossFit. That's the reason why a lot of guys get injured in CrossFit is because they're going to get touchy subject here. But I think a lot of guys that do CrossFit combine both, and when they go into a big heavy lift, they're tired, they're out of breath, and their form suffers, and then they get injured. So yeah, that's really why I keep them separate from each other.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
What are the common mistakes you found people do when working out?
I find, as I mentioned in the beginning, the poor exercise selection. I think pick your movements well. I would rather have a guy do 3 movements for leg day, but they're doing like good form lunges, good form leg press, and maybe like a good step up. Something like that. I would take that over doing 10 exercises that are all quite inefficient. So to me, exercise selection is a big one. The intensity. Don't be on your phone during your session. That's an intensity killer. Your workout suffers. Put your phone away. Whoever's messaging you can wait 45 minutes. You can tell your Tinder dates to wait while you finish your set. So to me, those are 2 big ones. And then also nutrition. Guys spend so much time in the gym training, and they go home and they eat Krispy Kreme and McDonald's, and you wasted your workout.
You undo everything that
that's a massive one as well. Yeah.
Okay, so I know a lot of guys, especially bodybuilders, have neglected flexibility altogether. How important is it to you, and do you recommend it? Do you recommend anything that has to do with flexibility?
I do, definitely. I don't do enough of it myself, but I definitely do. I think that flexibility and mobility go hand in hand, and that's a big one for preventing injuries. The reason why guys start getting injured is because when they get under a squat bar and their shoulders are so tight, they can't even move their hands properly. So they start getting injuries there. And I think mobility is largely underrated, and guys look down on it like, oh, that guy's stretching, that's weird. But I think a lot of people, especially when you start building muscle, because remember when you build muscle, that scar tissue doesn't help flexibility. If anything, you get less mobile as you get bigger. So to remain mobile, you have to. I play a lot of golf, and I have since I was young, and I was skinny at school. So to me, I played golf the whole time, so my mobility stayed quite good. But you see a lot of muscle-bound guys, when they try and swing a golf club, they have no flexibility. So to me, aside from just the semantics of life, playing with your children, bending down, picking things up, and preventing injuries, mobility is a big one that you shouldn't neglect.
What are your thoughts on functional training?
I think, again, it depends on what you want to achieve. Like a lot of guys enjoy calisthenic work. So for them, doing body weight, muscle ups and dips and, handstands and things like that, to them, they enjoy that kind of stuff. To me, I don't. I enjoy traditional hypertrophy strength training. Lifting weights, and I enjoy doing, medium intensity cardio. I don't enjoy doing long distance running, or whereas a lot of guys are runners. So you got to pick your niche in terms of what do you like to do, and that's going to dictate, is functional training going to benefit you? If so, go for it. If not, maybe not for you, especially if you're heavy. Like for a lot of guys, like especially muscular guys, doing functional stuff is not always conducive to what their body allows. So you got to sort of see what cards you dealt and make the best decision from there for what your goals are.
Okay, no, I hear you. Also, I'm sure you have a lot of clients that travel a lot, and can't seem to get the right program when they're traveling because they're not familiar with the gym close by, or they're not familiar with maybe taking a mat and doing some functional training. How do you help people tackle that when it comes to traveling?
Yeah, traveling is a big one. I've got my whole client base is lifestyle people, meaning that they are largely high-end corporates, they're business owners, they're entrepreneurs. So they do end up traveling quite a bit. Biggest like bullet points for me. Number one is your eating again, your portion control. You're going to be at a buffet breakfast. Don't go and eat all the mini donuts. Rather go and have a nice omelette, have a decent breakfast. And you can, I mean, I go on beach holidays. But I can tell them, make me an omelette, make me this. I'm not going to go there and just eat the chocolate croissants for breakfast. You can make the best decisions at each meal. That's a big one. Alcohol, like limiting your alcohol. It's unrealistic for people not to drink, but limit it. You don't have to go and have 10 beers. You can have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And thirdly, when it comes to exercise, I always say just do something. If you go for if you're traveling and you're in a cool city, go for a walk, go explore a bit, go
Minimize
get
the
10,000
damage,
steps,
yeah.
100%. Like it's damage control when you're away. Even if you wake up, I'll wake up and I'll do as many sets of push-ups as I can in 30 minutes. Then I'll go for a nice long swim in the sea or whatever if I'm traveling, if I'm on a beach holiday. Just do something. Don't think just because I'm away, I can't do anything. Also, most hotels and stuff have a gym.
Yeah.
So you have no excuse. Use the app that we have and just get a workout in of some form. Better than nothing.
Yeah. What are some of the best ways to set or track fitness goals?
I think a lot of people have a very one-dimensional approach when it comes to, I mean, I'll say specifically weight loss and fat loss because most of my clients are fat loss. People look at the scale only and they're like, oh, but I ate so well this week and I haven't lost any weight. To me, the scale is one aspect of it.
Yeah.
You can maintain the same weight, but you've lost body fat. So to me, I look at measurements. So measure your waist, measure your legs, and see if you've lost 10 centimeters on your waist. Of course, you've lost fat.
Yeah.
You visually are smaller, so you definitely have lost fat. Secondly, the scale's nice to use over time.
Yeah.
So you see over 6 or 8 months you've lost weight, but weighing yourself every day, every week is not necessarily good. If anything, it's going to be detrimental because you look at the scale and you think, oh, you get despondent. Oh man, I'm up a kilo because fluid levels change. If I drink this glass of water, I'm 500 grams heavier on the scale. I haven't put on 500 grams.
Yeah.
So yeah, measurements, photos, weights, and body fat calipers. If you have a chiro or physio that can do it for you, you try and get a multi-dimensional approach when it comes to that kind of thing. And also just enjoy the process. The results will come.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny, I've actually found that for me, clothes are actually some of the most accurate
Big time.
way to measure
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
losing weight or not. Because sometimes, obviously, a lot of people lose fat but gain muscle.
Yeah.
Some people stay the same. Sometimes the scale goes up, but you're becoming leaner.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't understand that. Another question is, workout can be boring, especially when it's routine. You know, you're doing the same thing. You know, Wednesday is legs, Monday is chest, Friday is arms.
Yeah.
How do you mix it up?
Well, when it comes to myself, obviously I've got enough experience that I can utilize different training methods to make it interesting for myself. But when it comes to my clients, my in-person clients, I try and go through phases. So we'll go through like 6 or 8 weeks where we're doing strength training.
Yeah.
And they're doing primarily the same movements, but over 8 weeks. Once those 8 weeks are done, we'll go into another 8 weeks of hypertrophy. Different movements, different rep schemes. And to me, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
All the clients that are abroad that use my training app, every month there's a new phase for them. So you only have that fixed program for 1 month or 6 weeks or 8 weeks, whatever the case is, and thereafter it changes. So to me, getting yourself a good trainer is an important one. And secondly, again, just pick yourself, 4, 5, 6 movements that you enjoy for those body parts. Change up the order, the reps, the sets. Go some weeks go low reps, longer rest periods. Other weeks go higher reps, less weight, shorter rest periods. And you can chop and change like that. But also, don't change too often. I think some guys try and shock the muscle, and they just end up doing a new workout every day. Also, not conducive to getting momentum. You want to do the same workouts at least for a while to get traction, and then you can add in a bit of variety here and there. Yeah.
Okay. What are some of the exercises that one can do to get a stronger core?
I think a lot of people overemphasize like surface level core movements. Like guys do lots of sit-ups or those cable crunches, and to a large degree they can be beneficial, but they burn, but that doesn't mean they're very effective. It's like doing a very light one-arm tricep push down. It burns a lot, but is it really building your arms as much as we need it to? So to me, doing movements that force your core to engage, like there's an exercise called a suitcase carry, where you hold a heavy dumbbell in one hand, brace your abs and you keep your shoulders square and you walk in a straight line, nice and slow like a catwalk with holding one heavy dumbbell, that forces your core to engage. So suitcase carry, plank, where you're lifting one arm and focusing on bracing your abs. Also static holds, where you can almost, those, what are those things called? Those, you do like a glute raise.
Okay.
You face the other way and you lean back as far as you can and you brace your abs, hold a ball above your head.
Oh, like the hyperextension.
Yeah, hyperextension. Face the other way, put the thing behind your knees and lean back where it forces your core to engage. So movements like that, but again, just go slowly. A lot of guys swing around when they do abs and it burns, but it's not super effective on the abs.
Yeah, because I see a lot of people doing dynamic work thinking that it's effective. Like you said, it burns, but does it actually attack the core?
Yeah.
So
also doing like heavy squats, like if you're doing a good back squat, when you brace your abs, definitely works your abs a lot because your abs are forced to engage with a load on your back. So yeah, things like that also help. Doing big compound lifts definitely forces your abs to engage.
100%. A lot of people are experiencing burnout. They, pushing throughout the year, same routine, going heavy at the gym, but they experience burnout. Are there ways to avoid it? Or how do you, bounce back when you're experiencing something like that?
There definitely are. I think it's a combination of things. I think guys get stressed with work. They got relationships, work, finances, kids. There's a lot of factors in their life that cause them to already be stressed. Then they start training on top of that 6-7 days a week, and there's just too much on their plate. So to me, from an exercise point of view, I would limit going heavy, because when you start going super heavy, you also tax your central nervous system a lot. So to me, if you're deadlifting super heavy, squatting heavy, your central nervous system is going to take a hit and you're going to feel beat down. So to me, I would go, if you're starting to feel, some days you walk in the gym and everything feels heavy.
Yeah.
You get no pump, there's no connection. Firstly, I take a day or two off. I eat what I want, I chill for a bit. Then I come back and I don't go as heavy. So I'll go slightly lighter, more controlled work all the time. And to me, just the limit of, it's almost like a deload, where you lower the amount of weight used, and that'll help a lot with keeping your central nervous system not too taxed. So I actually feel, especially towards the end of the year, like you said, it is a big one.
Yeah, I actually saw something interesting recently about one of the bodybuilders. I forgot his name, but in the 90s, where he had a 2-day split and a 2-day rest.
Yeah.
Basically, like 2-day cycle.
Yeah,
and it's quite interesting where he works out, but obviously, program his workouts to where he's attacking enough muscles, but not completely, destroying himself.
Yeah.
And then he takes 2 days off. It's quite interesting that people find ways to get to avoid burnout and get to goals in certain ways. So that's very interesting.
Well, you think about how much harder you can train when you've had 2 days off. So 2 days on, 2 days off. I think it's a nice way to actually get in 4 workouts a week.
Yeah.
But you feel rested. I mean, come Friday or Saturday, if I try to train, my body's sore, I'm tired. So I think 2 days off, there's many ways to skin the cat, but I think something along those lines definitely can be looked at. I mean, it works for a pro bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Obviously something to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, in your opinion, does a warm-up and a cool-down really matter?
Yeah, they do. I mean, I think especially a warm-up, I think specifically in winter as well, when your muscles are physically cold, and in summer, either way, getting a dynamic workout in. So first of all, if I'm doing legs, I'm going to start off 5-10 minutes on a spinning bike, get my legs nice and warm, gets your knees nice and hot, just get some movement and some blood flowing through your ligaments, your tendons, all around the joints. You want blood in that area. So to me, spinning a bit, and then I'll do 4 or 5 sets of bodyweight stuff. I'll do some bodyweight reverse lunges, some bodyweight squats, get nice and warm, and then I'll slowly increase weight. So I might take 20 or 25 minutes to actually warm up properly before I go into the heavy stuff, because it also primes your central nervous system that you're telling your body, cool, we're going to be lifting weight soon. Are you ready?
Yeah.
That's why you feel like, think about at 5 a.m. when you pick up a 20-kilo plate. It feels heavy. But at midday when you're training, it feels light.
Absolutely, yeah.
Your central nervous system adapts and wakes up. So to me, definitely, a warm-up is super important before you start pressing weight. Like upper body, if I'm doing chest, I'll do 4, 5, 6 sets of push-ups. Get some blood flowing there, some light shoulder work so your shoulders don't take strain, and then I'll move into the weights. A lot of guys walk in straight to the bench press, plate aside, they start repping it.
See a lot of that, yeah.
You got to take it easy, especially on shoulders and things like that, and knees. And It can catch up to you when you're older.
Yeah.
Warm-ups and cool-downs are super important to me.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I see a lot of guys, and obviously different things work for different people. I see a lot of guys going on the treadmill and then warming up for 10 minutes and then going to the bench press and start benching. When you're warming up, is it important to actually warm up with the movement that you're about to perform, or you can warm up with something totally different?
No, I would do both. So a nice treadmill warm up is good just to get blood flowing throughout your body. But then when it comes to that actual body part you're training, definitely I would do some work on there just to start priming blood to get into there. Also, those ligaments and tendons, think about like an elastic band. When you start flexing it and stretching it, it does get looser. Your body is the same. You need to do movements that are like if I'm going to do bench press, I'm going to warm up off the bench. I'm going to do very light shoulder stuff, some rotator cuff warm-ups, and then I'll start on just the bar. Super slow, nice big stretch, nice big squeeze. Then I add a 10, then a 20, then I'll build my way up. I wouldn't start on the bar. I want to warm up all the smaller muscle groups first. Maybe you do some tricep push downs, some push-ups. I want to fill that area with blood before I go and start actually benching. And also just prevents injury, big time.
Yeah. Plateaus are going around. You know, a lot of people are hitting plateaus. They're getting frustrated, thinking they need to stack up on the creatine or stack up on the whey proteins. How do you address it? How do you come out of a plateau? Or if maybe sometimes people see it coming, actually. How do you tackle that kind of situation?
The biggest one for me is I would look at what you're eating. So if you are, let's say you are a fat loss client who can't drop any more body fat, I would get my Fitness Pal and I would track every single calorie that goes in my mouth. If I lick a breadstick, I'm going to put it on my Fitness Pal. Anything that goes in your mouth, you track. So when it comes to a point, you're like, I haven't lost any weight, I'm struggling. You go back and you look, the last 3 days I've actually been eating a little bit too much. That's a big one. So tracking your calories. And number 2 is reassess your fitness and your training. If you are, maybe the last few weeks you've been lacking intensity, maybe your cortisol levels are too high, you're stressed at work, whatever. So I would tackle them one by one. Training first, training second, nutrition first, and see which element are we missing here. And obviously, whatever you're doing currently is not working. You have to adapt something, and then adapt one at a time. Cool. Meals, we're going to add in some protein, drop some more carbs. Let's run that for a week, see how we go, and we're going to add in 15 minutes of cardio. So I would make small adjustments to each aspect of my fitness journey, and then one by one tick off the variable that was the issue. That's the biggest one, because if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results. You got to assess what you're doing and make changes to it.
Yeah. I don't know if this strategy has worked for you in the past, where you go 1 week heavy, 1 week light. Does that help?
Definitely.
Preventing a plateau.
Yeah, so I think when it comes to training blocks, if you're on a strength training block, I would go maybe, a week or two, you can start doing sets of 5 and 6 and see where you stand, and then you can take 1 week and maybe deload a little bit. Then the next week you go again, but you add a little bit of weight. Then you take a week and you deload a bit. Again, it depends on your level. If you're a professional strength athlete, you can have longer time periods where you're pushing the weight because your body can handle it. But if you're just starting out, 2 weeks of slightly pushing, provided your form and technique is optimal, that's obviously a given, provided that's perfect, and then you can start pressing the weight up slightly. Aces, go for it. But then it is important at a point in time to take a week and just chill. Either take a week off completely or take a week where you're moving less weight. Because if you're constantly moving more and more and more weight, there will come a time where you either burn out, like you said, or you're going to get injured. Your body can't press more weight every week indefinitely. You have to have times where you ebb and flow between the two. Big time.
There's a lot of youngsters that are joining the gym. They have no idea what they're supposed to do. How much results can you really get as a newbie in the gym?
I think as a newbie, I'm always jealous of newbies when I see them training, because I'm like, oh man, you're going to make so much gains in the next few years. Because you think about someone like Sibu that we see at the gym. As a pro bodybuilder, for him to get 20% better could take him a year or two, because he's been training for so long. His physique has been so perfected over decades of training that for him to get better is hard. It's like F1 drivers. To knock a second off your time is difficult. But if we go in go-karts, with a bit of training, we can knock 10 seconds off. So to me, with newbies, the fact that their body is like a blank canvas, they've never trained, they haven't eaten properly ever, probably. The fact that they're starting this from ground zero, the results they get is phenomenal. So I think with newbies, you mustn't underestimate what you can achieve. Especially just get the foundations right. Start eating properly from day one. Get a trainer from day one. Do the right shit in the first place, that you don't end up wasting. I mean, I wasted a year or two in the beginning just doing dumb things. So I think it's important to get a professional in to actually assist you who's been doing this for a while to avoid any potholes and mistakes that he made.
Does this apply for weight loss as well?
Yeah. I think a lot of people when it comes to weight loss, again, weight loss, they read so much things on the internet that it's just factually incorrect. These apple cider vinegar, water in the morning, and then fasting for this, and we're going to do a 24-hour fast for that, and then I see so much of it. I'm like, this is not conducive to being sustainable.
Yeah.
So to me, fat loss, muscle gain, whatever, get yourself a trainer, someone who's got known results in the industry, and at least use them for 6 months. Gain knowledge, gain an understanding of how things work, then try on your own.
Yeah.
Because you're going to make a lot of mistakes if you try on your own in the first place.
Speaking about beginners, obviously beginners are getting into the gym, they don't know what to do. Are there ways they can prevent injury?
Definitely. I think going back to your warm-up, an effective warm-up is a big one. And secondly, doing the right weight. I see so many new guys, the typical question of how much can you bench? And they're straight in, their form is terrible, their shoulders are rounded, their elbows are flared out on the bench press, and obviously just leads to massive injury. So to me, I would say lower the weight and research good form. If you want to say how, YouTube, proper dumbbell bench press. Emulate that technique on a lightweight, use a 10 kilo, and then build from there. If your form starts looking out of shape, go down a weight. But guys start pressing super heavy, aside from the fact that it's inefficient, it's ineffective, you're just going to injure yourself and you're going to get no gains. So you're not building muscle and you're getting injured. It's like a negative on both sides. So don't go too heavy. That's my biggest one.
Okay. How important is it to track your macros? Fats, carbs, protein.
I think tracking your macros, especially in the beginning, like I've been training for long enough that like I'm going overseas next week for a week, and I know that if I want to get a bit leaner for that, I know what I eat in a day and I can adapt accordingly. Like I don't track my macros, but I have a fair idea of what I eat.
Because you've been doing it for so long.
Correct. But for those that haven't been doing it for this long, I would say, and also I'm not going to be super accurate, which I don't need to be. I'm not a pro athlete. I'm not competing.
100%.
So to me, I just want to, if I want to tighten up a little bit, I know what I eat, so I can remove a bit of carbs from there and add a bit of protein there. It works for me. But in the beginning, I would say you have to get a food scale. You have to weigh your food out, and you have to track it in MyFitnessPal. If you don't know what you're eating, it's impossible to make amendments. Like I often get new clients that come in and they say, I've got a guy that wants to gain muscle. And for him, he's like, oh, bro, I'm eating so much. You have no idea how much I'm eating, but I just can't gain weight. And then I said to him, download this app, track your food, let's see how much you're eating. And then you'll come back after 2 days and I'll see he's eating 1,900 calories. I'm like, it's too low. You got to bump that up. So unless you're tracking your food, it's guesswork. You have to, same as blood work. You got to go know what your body's doing to know how to change it. Big one.
Speaking about tracking your macros and whatnot, a lot of people here, especially the people that want to lose weight or lean out, people hear calorie deficit. And they know what it's about, but they can't put it into practice. So how does one go through a calorie deficit if they want to lose weight? And what does it entail?
So to break it down in as simple as I can, if you're a newbie and you're trying to lose weight, number one, go into Google and type in TDEE, Total Daily Energy Expenditure Calculator. And you type in your weight, your activity level, a few details about yourself. It'll give you a rough estimate of how many calories you need to be at maintenance and to be in like a 500 calorie deficit a week, a day. So now all you do is it says you're a 70 kilo woman and you want to drop a bit of body fat. It might say that maintenance calories for you is 2,000 calories as a round number. So you want to eat 1,600. That's where you get MyFitnessPal, and you track everything, and you see that I'm eating 1,600 on the dot. And if you start losing too much weight, if weight comes off too fast, bump them up slightly. If you're eating 2,000 calories and you can see that you're gaining weight, then obviously you need to adjust it slightly to find where your maintenance is and then subtract 500. And the biggest thing is don't mess up your weekends. I see guys do so well in the week, then the weekends come and they're smashing burgers, pizzas, tequila, and they wonder why. They get a nice deficit in the week and then on the weekends surplus, and they actually at break even for the week. They never end up progressing because they end up going down in the week and then straight up on weekends. So you got to get that happy medium where on the weekends, if you want to have a pizza, but maybe it's your only meal of the day, or you have 2 meals. You have to go portion control there as well. So to me, if you want to lose fat, you have to get an idea of how much you're currently eating and what you need to be eating to lose weight. That's the biggest one.
There was one of my clients actually asked me, and I explained to her, why do men lose weight so quickly and we don't? Can you explain that a bit? Why men lose weight quicker and women don't?
Aside from the fact that hormonally, women have a very different month to us. So for them, they're dealing with a lot of things that we don't deal with. Like the hormonal impact on women, if you see how the hormones affect a woman during her cycle, it's a lot. So for them to be fighting that, number one, is a big aspect. Number two, men generally carry more muscle than women do. And they're heavier, so we burn more calories in a day anyway. So for us to get into a bigger calorie deficit is far easier. For a chick that weighs 60, she's not burning that many calories in a day anyway, whereas a guy that weighs 120 is burning double what she's burning. So the biggest thing is that guys generally burn more calories throughout the day than a woman does. So for them to reduce their eating, they can see better results because they're burning more. If a woman had the same calorie output as a man does, that's why if a chick is doing high intensity workouts and cardio, they will burn fat quickly because they're expending so much energy. But for them, if they're burning only 1,800 calories a day, for them to see the same deficit as a man does, they're going to have to be eating like 900. Whereas a man who's burning 4,000 a day or 3,500, he can eat 2,500 in 1,000 calorie deficit. So the deficit becomes easier when you're burning more. If you work in the whole day, you're on your feet, you're missioning like we're on the gym floor the whole day, carrying weights, picking stuff up, we're doing 15,000 steps. Our calorie burn is high. So for us to get 1,000 calorie deficit is far easier than for a girl to do it. And the fact that we're not battling as many hormones. So yeah, that's the biggest one, is that women they don't burn as many as we do in a day.
Got you. Do women get bulky when they start lifting weights?
No. I get so tired of that. I get girls that say, I don't want to lift weights, I'm going to get too big. I'm like, you're not going to wake up one day and be like, oh, damn it, put on too much muscle. It doesn't happen that way. Also, if you go look at Lauren Simpson's a good example, that blonde chick from Australia. She's a top bikini girl. You go watch her training videos. She trains like I do. She squats 150 for reps. She does weighted lunges with 60 kilos on her back. She's a strong girl. Women don't have enough testosterone to build as much muscle as guys. Unless your plan is to inject yourself with testosterone as a chick, which most people don't do, you're not going to end up building that amount of muscle. So it's not going to happen for a woman. Women in general are going to battle to put on muscle. So if anything, you should be training with weights more than men are. But I think a lot of girls, and also to get that, like girls want that perky bum and that round bum and the legs, that comes from lifting weights. Heavy hip thrusts. You go look at any girl in the gym with a good physique and you see how they train. I promise you they're lifting weights. So girls, don't be scared of lifting weights.
Please.
Yeah, please, for the sake of all of us, lift some weights.
That has been addressed. How important is it, the older you get, especially for guys, the older you get? Should you be doing so much cardio, or do you need to incorporate as much resistance training as possible as you age?
I think especially as you age, bearing in mind that men lose testosterone as they get older. I don't know the exact numbers, so don't quote me on this, but I think it's about 1% or 0.8% decline over the age of 35. So I think when you're 55, you're 20% down on your testosterone. It's something like that. The numbers are not exact, but it's somewhere there. So for you, for anyone, I think that men, especially getting older, should be emphasizing resistance training, lifting more weights, because they're going to be battling to not only build muscle, but just maintain their muscle as it is. So I think that you need to be prioritizing weight training as you get older. Also keep your ligaments, your tendons stronger. I think it's super important. It prevents you getting frail. Like I've got family members, my uncle's 75. He still cycles, he plays tennis, he emphasizes being active and obviously training in that manner. Where some people are 60 and they look like they're 90 because they've done no sport their whole lives. They don't train, they don't do exercise. You need to train. My whole family is aged super well because they spend their lives training, not necessarily with weights, but some form of training. But I think, especially for men, you got to prioritize weightlifting. Even you don't feel super heavy, but just you got to be moving that muscle to maintain it. Definitely.
Do you what would you suggest for somebody that doesn't have access to the gym? Is it possible to get into shape?
Yeah, of course it is. I think when it comes to bodyweight stuff, there's so many variants you can do. You might not have as much variety as you do in a gym, where you have 10 different chest machines. But if you're doing, I mean, even at home, if you have a bench, you can do dips, you can do push-ups, you can do step-ups, you can do lunges, you can do Bulgarians, you can do drop sets, giant sets. There's a lot of things you can do. Even if you get yourself, go to Macro and buy a home set of weights, immediately opens up a huge amount of variety in your workouts. I mean, during lockdown, my whole business was struggling because gyms were closed, but then guys could buy weights and use them at home. So, I mean, we managed throughout lockdown for 4 or 5 months, the gyms were closed and we managed to get decent workouts in. So if you committed and you know that you can't get to a gym, but you're going to be training from home, if you have the discipline to actually use those weights for what they're meant to be used for, definitely. And obviously the online system that I use allows people, I can design a plan with whatever equipment you have. So there's many variants that do it, but yeah, you absolutely can. Where there's a will, there's a way. Got to make it happen.
Absolutely. How important is sleep when it comes to achieving your fitness goals?
Big time. I don't sleep enough and I can feel it a bit. Like today, I train now at 11 and I could feel my body was tired because I haven't been sleeping very well. But sleep is, your body can't function cognitively, your brain doesn't work properly. Performance-wise is terrible if you haven't had enough sleep. So sleep is, I think, a secret weapon that people don't utilize enough. I think you got to prioritize your sleep. Definitely.
For the newbies, their go-to supplement is creatine. What do you think about creatine?
I'm a big fan. I think supplement companies end up building 20 different supplements that everyone needs. I'm not so sure. I think there's a few basics. Creatine, whey protein, maybe a pre-workout, and some amino acids, I think is a go-to. But I think creatine specifically, I think it's the most researched supplement in the world, and I'm a big fan. Essentially, it allows you to hold more energy in a muscle cell, so you can push harder for longer. And if you can push harder for longer, you're going to get more results. So, and the fact that it's safe for 13-year-old girls to use, I think the safety aspect is already covered. So, I mean, everyone's mom looks in their cupboard and says, using steroids here with the creatine tub. But I think for newbies out there, get your nutrition right. They're called supplements for a reason because they help to supplement your diet. So get your actual meals down, then add in like a whey protein to help your protein intake and a creatine to put the cherry on top. But number one is get your food in order. Big time.
Yeah, I like how you emphasize diet because a lot of people overlook that, and that's very important.
It really is.
Is there anything else you would like to add on or tell the people before we wrap up?
I think just don't overcomplicate things. Guys see it again, there's so much information on there and everyone trying to be relevant on TikTok and with a new idea that is going to be the magical solution to fat loss and muscle gain. And you can't cheat the system. It takes discipline, it takes time, it takes consistency. So find a training style that you enjoy. If you like running, run. If you enjoy lifting weights, lift weights. But find something conducive to your goals and enjoy the process. Enjoy your weightlifting. Put earphones in. Make it time for yourself to de-stress from work. When you enjoy the process, the results become a side effect. So get your eating in order, enjoy your training, and the rest will follow. And if it doesn't, you've missed something along the way. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming, brother.
Pleasure, brother.
That was enlightening.
Good.
Enlightening.
And any questions people have, they must just shoot.
Yeah.
We'll do another one.
Awesome stuff.
Sweet, brother.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.
If you enjoyed that, I've linked more videos for you to explore. So click on any one of them and enjoy the content. Thank you so much for being part of the community. And I hope you find value in this channel because that's all I'm trying to deliver to you. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.